What's a creepy fact you wish you never learned?
Number 1. My father's school did a guided tour through the woods, searching and learning about local herbs. A few years later, my father was still a child. Police showed up and asked him if he recognized the man in a picture that they showed him. My father explained that he was the herbalist tour guide. Apparently, the guy had murdered several boys and had my father's name and address in his car. The police had caught the guy by this point. I think he killed himself or died in suspicious circumstances.
Number 2. You've probably heard a fact about how 70% of the human body is water. We basically know this because of a Japanese general who roasted people in an oven.
Number 3. If you have abdominal surgery and the surgeon needs your intestines out of the way, they don't try to get them back in exactly as they were. They can put them in pretty much any old way and they sort themselves out. Then, freaked out even more when someone else commented that you can quite often feel them wriggling themselves back into position.
Number 4. Dolphins are known to be quite intelligent, but they can also be cruel. In some cases, they've been documented killing baby dolphins of other pods, seemingly for fun.
Number 5. There are more cells in your body that belong to other things like bacteria, fungi, viruses, and parasites than actual human cells. Some are beneficial, some harmful, and most are just along for the ride. Also, we're riddled with microplastics, so that's fun too.
Number 6. Your brain chooses to ignore your nose. If it didn't, you would notice it in your point of view constantly. You only see it in your point of view when you want to see it.
Number 7. In the meteor apocalypse movies, it usually starts by some random research team discovering the meteor by accident, then figuring out it's headed for Earth. That's pretty much what we have to hope for. Those asteroids are fast, like faster than you can imagine. In movies, it's this huge ball of fire that tears through the atmosphere in some cinematic masterpiece that allows the people below to see how fucked they are. That's not true in real life. In real life, it goes from the edge of our atmosphere to the Earth in less than a second. It hits the Earth so hard it'll vaporizes the ground it touches and itself, hitting with such force that the ground moves like you threw a boulder into a lake. Waves of Earth become fluid and destroy everything in a massive flux of destruction. But what's really scary is that it's cold. It's cold until it hits some type atmosphere from a planet or space body. Because it's cold, it's hard to detect with just pointing instruments into space. Unless we are specifically looking for it, we won't see it. We won't know that we're about to all die. We won't know that a meteor is about to hit us until we see a literal tsunami of Earth outside our window about to kill us. That's why movies have people discovering it by accident. Because the chances of us finding it on purpose are not good.
Number 8. When a bug gets stuck in your eye that you can't get out. Our eyes break down and eat them and we actually absorb the nutrients.
Number 9. There could be black holes traveling close to the speed of light, flying through the universe, ready to swallow anything in their way. The scary part is, they could be headed right for Earth, and we wouldn't notice it.
Number 10. When you are in the process of dying, the last part of your brain function to go is related to your hearing. Essentially, you can hear everything around you, but you're locked in. Whether you can comprehend it is for a person much smarter than me to answer. But imagine understanding that the people around you are mourning and all you can do is listen. Or even worse, Terry's nobody.
Number 11. It was believed, all the way up to 1980, that babies couldn't feel pain. That means that in the same year that Another Brick in the Wall was popular on the radio, somewhere there was a baby having open heart surgery with no anesthesia.
Number 12. Fatal familial insomnia. Creepy disease that just don't let you sleep. You start seeing hallucinations till you die. This disease is hereditary and you can't find symptoms. This disease destroying sleep cells, so you can't just take sleeping pills. There is a book about this disease, Family That Couldn't Sleep. This family was very big and they watched how their children dies. Very creepy.
Number 13. Vacuum decay. Theoretically, if some quantum tunneling event occurs in deep space, it can sort of unmake the physical laws of the universe, and it will just stop. This effect will spread out at superluminal speeds, This can occur in the same way a shadow can move faster than light, or the expansion of the universe itself can move faster than light. These dead areas are also invisible as they, by their very nature, emit no radiation. Absorb any that ventures in, and move so fast, the only way you know one was coming was that all the stars near you would all blink out in a matter of weeks.
Number 14. That the uncanny valley exists because there was an evolutionary reason to be afraid of something that looked human but wasn't. The theory that I like is that it was because early Homo sapiens encountered Neanderthals and other early human ancestors.
Number 15. If you feel like you're being watched by someone, you probably are. Now, I can't help but think about how that feeling occurs similarly to observing a quantum particle. The particle reacts to being watched or touched. And since we got a bunch of those particles in our atoms, in our cells, in our organs, in our bodies, we can literally feel like we're being watched with every fiber of our being.
Number 16. One creepy fact I wish I never learned is that there's a rare disorder called Cotard's syndrome, also known as walking corpse syndrome. People with this condition believe they are dead, do not exist, or have lost their internal organs. It's incredibly disturbing to think about the profound psychological and emotional impact this disorder must have on those who suffer from it.
Number 17. The universe is expanding at an increasing rate, pushing all celestial bodies away from each other faster and faster. At some point, there will be no way to even observe galaxies or even stars. Any intelligent life still in existence in that time will have no evidence anything else even exists apart from their own environment. They will be perpetually ignorant to the origin of their existence.
Number 18. We feel very safe in our houses, but we're surrounded by electrical wire with current flowing most of the time, water pipes holding water under pressure and gas pipes carrying flammable gas. It's by all probability not as safe as being outside.
Number 19. Not so much a creepy fact, but more a sad realization. You can be outstanding at your job. You can be an organization hell-bent on delivering a quality outcome. You can do the most robust planning and preparation. Every single box can be checked and good to go, and it can still go horrifically, tragically wrong in the blink of an eye. I lost 4 good mates in the Army helicopter crash in July last year. It really showed that sometimes stuff can legit just go massively wrong.
Number 20. A CME, coronal mass ejection, is the most likely civilization-ending disaster to come from space. The sun emits them regularly, and they hit the Earth every few hundred years. The last one occurred in the 1890s, but society at the time was less susceptible to the effects. Were one to hit the Earth today, it would basically destroy all the tech infrastructure on whichever side of the planet is facing the sun at the time. This would knock the affected hemisphere back into the stupid ages, and it would take decades to recover, altering the global balance of power forever. It's only a matter of time. We could mitigate the effects, but it would be expensive, so we haven't and likely never will. At least not until the problem becomes real to people. By then it will be too late. This is a much more likely scenario than an asteroid impact.
Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed these. Don't forget to check out my other videos, and in the meantime, have a lovely day.